is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Philly Blitz Pod, brought to you by 14th and Market. Episode 143. Was that Shelton Gibson? Was he 14?
Yes.
Shelton Gibson, Nolan Smith pod, if you will. If you will.
Jalen Hurts, Darren Sproles, bro. What are you doing?
Oh, of
Yes,
course.
playoff football, man. You got to get that one together.
I'll give you that one. I mean, the number games. It's too much fun, man. But we are back. I'm back. Landed from India just over 24 hours ago, battling jet lag. But when I saw who Quell was able to get for the podcast, man, I was like, I gotta be there. So, here with Pierre and Quell and very special guest, Eric Crocker. So how are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man.
Doing good, man. Good. Excited to talk some 49er Eagle football, man. It's playoff ball, so it's win or go home. This is the most exciting ball to talk about.
Got that right.
It just had playoff football just has a different feel to it, man. It's a different vibe. You can tangibly feel it in the air.
Oh yeah.
Well, beloved dub to those who celebrate. It's I, the one and only Marquel Fripp Owens. And I mean, I always say it's sunshine and birds in Philadelphia, but it's a different vibe in the air today, knowing that it's football, this playoff football. I mean, I don't know if we all seen ESP's tweet where he's talking about some man led by AJ Brown. Just the vibe in the locker room is different. So hopefully it all translates into the football field. But always a pleasure to have a pleasurable day when we got the one and only Eric Crocker, who you talk about wanting to be locked on 49ers.
Yeah. Locked on 49ers daily podcast. They got locked on Eagles too. I think it's Louis
DiBiase.
DiBiase. Yep. I just spoke with him to do the crossover episode that was released on Thursday.
Yes, sir. Definitely check that out. Make sure you guys check that out too. Definitely informative information.
Well, I mean, as you guys kind of outlined, it's the playoffs. This is what you wait for all season, and I think, especially Eagles fans, after after how the regular season went last year, and then how it just kind of changed in the playoffs, I think I've just kind of had my eye on the playoffs, especially with some of the way the offensive coordinating has gone. I've just been like, all right, let's take the straitjacket off in the playoffs, man. That's what I've been looking forward to. So, there's a lot to talk about, but it's a fun matchup, and I think there's been a fun rivalry that's just kind of budded in between the Eagles and the Niners. And for me personally, my mom's whole family is from California, so this week I've already been getting the messages, and so I've been just sending a picture of Jalen Hurts with the ring. I was like, we took care of business when we were there. Like, oh, it's because we softened him up for you. So it's a big one. It's a big one in the Shukla Shah household. So excited for this. Really need to win so that my uncle just can't be messaging me for the rest of the season. Like, oh, I thought you guys were going to win. But it's really just interesting matchup. And you have like a lot of old connections, right? Where Vic Fangio was with the Niners, and that's just, it's fun. And then you have the article that came out a couple of years ago where Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, they were all asked, who's the hardest defensive coordinator to go against? And they named, Big Zin, Uncle Vic. And, it's just the kind of matchup that you really, really look forward to. And especially this year with, the way that the Niners offense has just kind of been able to put up numbers, even though it hasn't been as pretty as some people might have wanted, which I think is very similar to what the Eagles have been like this season as well. But you have that's their best unit, and then you have our defense, which is our best unit, just kind of matching up. And I think it's a matchup for the ages, man. Not even to be facetious or anything, but I just think it's a really super exciting matchup where you're just going to watch two high-powered units, and then you're going to wonder what's going to happen with the other side of the ball as well. But I think it's going to be good playoff football, man, because these are two physical teams who are well coached, and that's all you can really ask for, man. I don't think these are two teams who were just kind of showed up in the playoffs. I think these are two teams who are ready to play their best ball in the playoffs. So, we usually, Eric, to give you a little outline, what we usually do is we get the injury report. Not going to forget that this time, Pierre. So we'll get the injuries going, and then we try to talk about our offense versus your defense, and then vice versa. And then we'll give some key matchups to watch, and then our predictions. So pretty simple lineup. But Pierre, why don't you tell us what the injuries are looking like this week, man?
All right. So for the Eagles, just they come into this game with 2 players with game designations. Backup center Brett Toth, he's questionable with the concussion, and then the big one, Lane Johnson, he's questionable as he works his way back from a Liz Frank sprain that's kind of kept him out for the last handful of weeks. Now, he's practiced all week, but he's been limited throughout the week. He didn't speak with reporters today, but like I'd be shocked if he doesn't go.
He
like,
didn't.
No, he didn't speak with reporters.
Oh,
They said he's a game time decision.
That is very concerning.
Yeah,
Just to give you some context on why that's very concerning. I mean, I've had this running joke with myself. I think, especially after the whole Brian Baldinger thing we talked about with JP last week, where I think they might be trying to soft launch he was so close, but maybe not this week. And then to make matters worse, he's a game time decision listed as questionable. Well, on the other side of the ball, just like you're about to get to, so is Trent Williams. But guess who spoke to reporters today?
Trent Williams. Yeah. So for the 49ers, it's a lengthy injury report. Linebacker D. Winters, he's questionable with the ankle. He's not practiced all week. He's not expected to play. Keon White, he's questionable with the groin, hamstring. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday. He was limited on Friday. Starting cornerback Ronaldo Green, he popped up on the injury report today with an ankle. He was limited. He's questionable headed into Sunday. And the 2 big ones, first one, like you alluded to, Quell, Trent Williams, he did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited on Thursday and Friday. He's questionable with the hamstring. I saw earlier in the week there was some doubt as to whether or not, he'd play, but like you said, he spoke to reporters today, and the belief is that he's going to try and give it a go on Sunday. And then wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, he's questionable with the knee/ankle. He's not practiced all week. I know, he's you guys' main deep threat down the field. So if he can't go, this might be a tough one for you guys on offense.
Like Rick, go Gators.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know if the 49ers even have a deep threat, but if there's one guy that the 49ers are a little bit more consistent with attacking that aggressive, we like to call it the aggressively intermediate area, kind of between 10 and 20 yards. Ricky Pearsall typically does a terrific job of that. So not having him out there, you miss some of that in the offense for sure. I think you saw it big time against the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, so Eric, walk us kind of through this year and how you guys have kind of dealt with the proverbial CVS receipt list of injuries and still kind of battled through it.
Dude, I mean, first, there's a few people you want to give a shout out to, man. One, Kyle Shanahan. It's very difficult to keep a team together and keep them motivated and locked in when you have the amount of injuries that the 49ers have dealt with, right? So that's first and foremost, that is very, very difficult. And then on top of that, just guys being able to step in and step up. And a lot of times coaches like to use the phrase next man up, but for the 49ers, it was next man up and then next man up again and next man up again. But one guy that I feel like really held everything together and should get a lot of praise for it was Mac Jones. He came in early in the season, went 5-3 in his starts, and that really kept the ship kind of steady, to make it to where when Brock Purdy did return and as he got healthier, the 49ers had an opportunity to not only make a playoff push, but potentially get the number 1 seed overall. So, I think it was difficult to fight through those, and I think you see it too. And you watch the 49ers, you guys talked about some of the inconsistencies offensively, maybe not as pretty all the time. Defensively has not been great. I mean, if I had to guess, the 49ers, more than anybody in the NFL this year, had the most money missed the most amount of games. Not having guys out there, Brock Purdy for half the season, not out there. George Kittle missed a decent amount of games. Trent Williams missed some time. Nick Bosa tore his ACL. Fred Warner snapped his ankle. You had Michael Williams, first round pick, 11th or 12th overall pick, tore his ACL. And the injury list goes on and on. Right now, it's like, who the hell are these linebackers? I don't even know who they are, some of these guys. And I cover the 49ers for a living. So that kind of lets you know where the 49ers are. And I think we've really felt that when you look at you look at the numbers, you look at the scores, why things are so kind of up and down at times. And it really was really remarkable to see them kind of get hot over a few games, right? Have a 6-game win streak. Some of those teams, not the best opponent, but some of them very decent and really good wins. And like, man, how did they do that? Well, against the Browns, they had to score 42 points because they gave up 38 because they couldn't stop a nosebleed. So they've been able to win in various ways, but the 49ers definitely are going into Philadelphia wounded.
Mm-hmm. So they give me hell because I try to be the impartial guy here. I get the hell on a week-to-week basis. There's a term that we use that you'll probably get very familiar with, especially once we get into our offense, where y'all offense versus our defense, that we speak about, called the snake oil salesman offense that Kyle Shanahan operates with. But I've been a huge advocate over the last, let's say, month or so, that Kyle Shanahan, if I personally had a vote in terms of coach of the year, it would have went to Kyle Shanahan. You, for a guy that covers the 49ers for a living, that has seen the ups, the downs, the long haul of the Kyle Shanahan era, would you consider this to be his finest work, considering everything that you guys have went through on defense? Brock Purdy missing, 8 games? And then, of course, multiple skill position players missing on offense. The fact that he had you guys in position for a 1 seed and just in the playoffs in general after all this.
Oh, yeah, easily. And in years past, when the 49ers had these type of injuries, which they have had a lot for, I don't know why, but it seems like 49ers always really banged up at the wrong time. But in the years that they've been really good, you look at the health, it matches. Very healthy. Got your big dogs out there. Top 5 defense, offense humming, cooking. Guys are playing dang near every game, and they win a bunch of games. Typically, when they have the injuries like they've had this season, they win 6 games or 4 games. Like, it's really bad. So for him to have those type of injuries, if not worse, this is some of the worst injury luck I've seen with the 49ers, and still win 12 football games. I think this is by far the best job I've seen him do. He's done a terrific job. Coach of the year, it's tough, like, because based on like difficulty, like he's playing Madden on a different difficulty level than everybody else. So you kind of want to give it to him for that. But some of these other coaches have done a terrific job as well. Vrabel going to the New England Patriots. I don't think we had these lofty expectations for them. And next thing you know, they're the number 1 seed and winning their division. You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars with Cohen. We thought it was a joke after he was like, Duval. It looked all goofy and stuff. And then next thing you know, I mean, he's made the signing of Trevor Lawrence look really good. And that team is really good. And he's got them playing really good football, and they believe. So I think there are some other coaches that are very deserving of winning that Coach of the Year award. But Kyle Shanahan, yeah, he played this season on a different difficult level than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to the snake oil salesman in a little bit, but you do have to commend the job and that the Niners have done this year, because they won games with their backup quarterback. And if anybody understands the importance of the backup quarterback, it's definitely Philadelphia. And if Kyle Shanahan decides to block an edge with a tight end again, and something happens to Brock Purdy, at least you guys have Mac Jones this time. So it's just it's a deeper team in a different way, and I feel like the story with this Niners team is that it's just some of the same pieces, but it just feels very different, right? Where you still have Christian McCaffrey, but it's not as much Christian McCaffrey, the rusher this year, as much as Christian McCaffrey, the receiver, who's been significantly more prolific. So, yeah, I mean, you do have to tip your cap to winning games when you're missing players, and especially on the defense. And I think that's a good transition into our offense versus their defense, because that way we can get the boring part done first. But the defense has struggled mightily this year, and since week 5, San Francisco has allowed 358.6 yards per game and 253.2 passing yards per game. Those are not super sustainable numbers, and they've still been able to win games and make it to the playoffs. So you do have to give credit where credit is due there. But I think this is going to be an interesting matchup for our offense, because like I just kind of outlined, this defense has struggled. They've struggled against the pass. They've also kind of struggled against the run, creating sacks. I mean, they're the first team to make the playoffs in a season with 20 or fewer sacks and fewer than 10 interceptions. So, you know, they're making up for it on offense, but this defense is beatable. And but what we've seen from this Eagles offense throughout the year is that they'll have winnable games. They'll play defenses that, you know, are not able to do that much, and they'll let that defense have the best game on them because Kevin Patullo wants to call the game scared or whatever it might be. And so that's been the frustrating part as Eagles fans, but, you know, take the straitjacket off. We come back to that, you know, and I think this week part of that taking that straitjacket off is rushing the ball with Jalen Hurts as well. You know, you need to have a well-rounded running game this week. And what we've seen, especially now, we haven't seen it for a full game. And that's the frustrating part, the worrisome part as you are in the playoffs at this point. But we've seen flashes throughout the year of they'll use Jalen as a runner. And then all of a sudden the passing game kind of starts clicking because they have to account for Jalen as a rusher. Then the running game starts clicking because the passing game is clicking and Jalen Hurts is a rusher out of the backfield. So, you know, you just want to see this offense bring that type of balance. And, you know, as much grief as we've given Kyle Shanahan on this podcast, he can call a game correctly where, you know, you can just build on top of things. That's what the Niners offense is, right? They just want to get to that outside zone and then get play action shots off of that and just kind of keep cycling through that. Eagles need to find their version of that. And it's frustrating to say that during the playoffs when you have Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert as your weapons. But, you know, we just need to be able to get a coherent game plan out there. And I think you should be able to score points on this defense, you know, and both of these teams have playoff experience. So it's not like, you know, one side is, you know, super qualified over the other. I was looking at I saw this graphic earlier with the wins for quarterbacks in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has 6, I think, and Brock Purdy has 4. So, you know, it's not that huge of a difference. They've both made it to the pinnacle game, you know, and Jalen's made it twice. Brock's made it once. Jalen won one, lost one. You know, you have to just depend on your players to make plays. You just cannot coach this game scared. That honestly, when we talk about the snake oil salesman, that's sometimes my biggest issue with Kyle Shanahan is like they'll get a lead and then, you know, he just kind of pulls back and he's like, oh, I think we have enough. And that just cannot be the case. You can't have that be the case in the playoffs. No matter how good your defense is, you got to just continue to put up points. So, I mean, the opportunities are going to be there. You know, they've struggled against receivers and against like top tier receivers, and you have top tier receivers. You just have to be willing to take advantage of it. But how are you guys feeling about this matchup?
Yeah, listen, man. If the Philadelphia Eagles can't move the ball versus this defense, it was not meant to be. It's just not meant to be. Because I mean, like, just to give us a bit of a backdrop before I hand it off to you guys. Once again, the Eagles are facing one of those defensive units who coverage-wise, they do a bit of everything. Cover 3, cover 4, cover 6. They're top 10 in all 10 of those, and the frequency with which they play those coverages. Statistically speaking, 27th in total defensive DVOA, 25th in defensive EPA per play, 29th in stopping under center runs, 24th in stopping shotgun runs, 29th in defensive success rate, right? They don't want to blitz. They blitz at the 24th highest rate in the league. They want to rush forward and play coverage. Just like I said, bro, this unit is struggling. They're struggling, right? Like you alluded to, Croc, before we got into it. But they're without Nick Bosa. They're without Fred Warner. They're without Fred Warner's backup. They're without Michael Williams. Like they're gettable. They're gettable. Like you said, Parth. Like you want to get Jalen involved in the QB run game. You want to take your shots as they come over the course of the game. Saquon should be able to have his way. Like I said, bro, if they can't move the ball, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Eric Kendricks in the year 2026 is crazy, man. Like that sounds like the Eagles linebackers of past years of like, oh, I mean, last year
reminded me of.
Huh?
You know what it reminded me of? When we signed Shaq Leonard to play for us against
boy.
the 49ers.
Oh, buddy. That was painful. And just before I hand it off, I think what you mentioned there, that Saquon should be able to have a day as well. I think that's important because Robert Saleh likes to stay in the 4-man front and just try to figure it out from there. You have to get movement up front. O-line, you guys got to break. I know y'all are hurting, but it's a playoff run. This is the time. get that tramadol shot and get out there, buddy. Like we really need them to be pushing because the opportunities are going to be there. But just wanted to point that out before passing it off. Q, you're on mute, bro.
Horrible podcasting. Sorry about that, you guys. But so how you want to do this, Crocky, man? You want to finish the roundabout, or you want to let the people hear what you got to say about all you just heard?
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers defense is definitely vulnerable, and everything that you guys said was valid points. Against the pass, they haven't been great. Against the run, they're suspect to that as well. When they've done very well, it's when they're able to take away the run first. And for the most part, some teams, like let's say Carolina averaged like 6 yards a carry between their running backs against the Niners, but they just didn't run the ball a whole lot. I think that would have helped them if they would have done that. The 49ers did do a hell of a job against Jonathan Taylor, and they're going to have to try to do that kind of job against Saquon Barkley as well. But now you're playing against probably a better offensive line and a running back that, like Jonathan Taylor, I mean, just super dynamic in the way, with the jump cuts and everything like that. So 49ers, you guys talked about their linebackers. They're hurting right now. They're really hurting that linebacker. Again, like as of today, I couldn't tell you who's going to start or what the rotation is going to look like. Even if you have guys out there like, D Winters. Okay, real quick, let me take a step back. Heading into this season, I figured that the 49ers offense was going to have to be a little bit more dynamic and be able to put up a lot of points because the 49ers defense, with all the young guys that they were going to have out there starting, they're going to go through learning curves. Like, you knew that, right? So you got Nick Bosa and you got Fred Warner. Man, first round DM, Michael Williams, he's not a sack master coming out of Georgia. He's going to need some development. Alfred Collins, CJ West, those were three guys that were probably going to start or get a lot of playing time on the D-line. So that's already three rookies that you have in there. You get to the next level. They drafted a linebacker in the third round. You thought you might see him play. Upton Stout, rookie cornerback, starting in the nickel. All right. And then you have some young guys that are in there, second, maybe third year at the safety position, but they were kind of mid-round guys, not these guys that were like highly touted and drafted. So there was a lot of youthfulness where like, okay, 49ers is going to have some learning curves, and the offense is going to have to really take control of things early on as the defense gets acclimated. Well, then you lose Fred Warner and you lose Nick Bosa, and then you lose Michael Williams. Now you have zero pass rush, and when I say zero, I mean zero pass rush. I'm curious to see how they're going to try to.
You mean to tell me Bryce Huff, he's not getting after the quarterback?
Bryce Huff has probably been the best edge rusher of the guys. Yeah, Bryce Huff probably been the best of all the guys. I don't think you'd like to bank on him being your guy. I think, if it was like, okay, we got Nick Bosa and we got Bryce Huff, cool, awesome. Or hey, we got Nick Bosa, we got the rookie. The rookie can slide inside, play a little 3-tech on passing situations, and Bryce Huff come in off the edge, cool. But when you take away the rookie, you take away Nick Bosa, and now Bryce Huff has to be your guy, I don't think he's suitable to be that. So that's where the 49ers really getting a lot of trouble. They were going to be in trouble to start the season and have to really grow together. But you take away the big dogs, now they're in even more trouble. And you, from game to game, you kind of just hold your breath to see, okay, are they going to get some stops? And against some, good quarterbacks like, Baker Mayfield, he tore the 49ers up. You think of him. You think of what it looked like against the Rams the second time he played. You think of, what it looked like, Phillip Rivers and how he came out against the 49ers, old man Rivers, and how he was throwing the ball around. So 49ers definitely defensively are vulnerable. And again, we're just kind of holding our breath a little bit, hoping that please just kind of, get some stops in this game.
So kind of like I outlined earlier, I'm the pest. I don't want to call it because oddly enough, I'm the one who's always on the brighter side. I'm the optimist of the group. But then when we start talking about how teams match up and all this stuff, I quickly become the pessimist of the group because it's like, yeah, you guys say this, but then that and all these cool stuff. But in terms of this 49ers defense against this Eagles offense, like we kind of talked about before we got on, Pierre, it's a whole lot of matchups within this football game. First things first, the big thing for the Eagles is getting Lane Johnson back. giving them the opportunity where if you really want to be successful running the ball, and you guys outlined the struggles that the 49ers had running the ball, but if you really want to be successful running the ball, the Eagles have to get back to some of those 6-man offensive linemen things that they were doing. Now, in terms of what Eagles would like to do, I mean, of course, we talked about attacking on the field on the outside and using these good receivers in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Where on the outside, we got to get the information on Bernardo Green, who was a late pop-up on the injury report this week. So we'll see if he plays. But with Bernardo Green and then Diamano Lindor, who I mentioned a few weeks ago, the defense goes as Diamano goes, but Diamano also has his team has 6 touchdowns allowed on the season. So it's a hit or miss kind of thing with him, especially when you go against some of these bigger bodies. Now, the issue there is the 49ers like to leave their receivers on proverbial islands. They're not quite the man match coverage, how Vic Fangio likes to run his man match coverage, and we'll talk about that later. But man match coverage is their thing. Cover 3, cover 4, cover 6. You talked about it, Pierre, that they run those at a top 10 level all across the league. Now, ideally, the Eagles should be able to take advantage of that. But we also talk about Jalen Hurts and his struggles against zone coverage all year long, man. And he's going to show you some zone. The good thing about it is, now we talk about teams showing tendency breakers. So hell, maybe Robert Saleh just might throw shit at the wall and his stick and just say, I'm going to blitz Jalen Hurts, even though that's not their thing. 49ers really don't blitz. Even if they did, it don't really work often. It's just trying to get to the quarterback. If they can find ways to impact Jalen Hurts, that'll be significant on this football game. Because I think while the running game will be important, the 49ers are actually well equipped to neutralize the Eagles' run if the Eagles don't get creative. The Eagles love forcing inside zone over and over and over. To quote the great tribal chief, it's like missionary every single night, over and over and over. But that's their thing, man. That's their thing. But the 49ers, in terms of how they produce against the run, while the numbers may be bad, the front four actually is very productive. They get a lot of penetration to start plays. The problem is when the penetration doesn't work and then they get to the second level and you start talking about those linebackers that you mentioned, Crocky, that who the hell is out there, then it becomes a problem. And you talk about some of the big plays running backs can break off. But if the Eagles want to continue to run inside zone over and over again, I think it goes right into what the 49ers would like to see defensively. Now, if they can get creative with some of the run game, especially on the Jalen Hurts front, who I found an interesting metric as I was watching this. We talked about Jalen Hurts and his lack of runs. I mean, on the season, he's averaging a career low 1.7 design runs per game. That's down from the 2.3 he's averaged over the last 5 years. For even bigger context, last season that number was up to 3.2. Now, this is my whole thing. What I'm hoping that the offense will become. I am not holding my breath, Mr. Kevin Patullo, but I'm praying. But I'm hoping, just like last year, that number jumped from 3.2 to 3.8 in the playoffs over the span of a Super Bowl run. So they wanted to actively get Jalen Hurts involved as a runner. I'm hoping that's the case now, but in order for this to work, the Eagles not just going to be able to say, yeah, we got the better front. I'm going to run the ball at this defense. It's not that easy. Kevin Patullo got to put his work boots on, and we got to figure this one out this week.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And I think something that we haven't mentioned as well, but it just kind of came up in my head. If the Niners have this lack at linebacker, you need to be targeting Dallas Goedert. Yeah. Like this can be a big Dallas Goedert game, and we've seen in the red zone how prolific he's been this year. Let's just take it throughout the field, man. You really just. I'll just be frustrated if they call the game scared again, because it's like,
who knows, man? Hopefully they might. Like, it's a two-sided coin. You could always think back to the Chicago game where Chicago was down to their linebacker 4 and 5, and Dallas Goedert came out the game saying, yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't even know that those guys were in the game. We didn't study that, and we looking at the coaching staff like, what the hell is your issue? Or it could be like the Washington game where we thought it was going to be the Dallas Goedert game. I mean, look at those linebackers. No disrespect, man, but they older than all of us here. And you just sat here. We like, yeah, Dallas got it, and they sat there and said, no, Devonta Smith, AJ Brown. We're gonna use them to pick on those linebackers. So they have ways. It's just about if they're going to be stubborn about it or not.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that puts a good bow on it. Like you need to. This offense cannot be stubborn. They can't just fall back into old habits. You really have to. Throughout the playoffs, you just have to be willing to innovate and take chances as well, because it's win or go home, man. Like this is where it hits the fan. Like you really you can't play scared anymore. You have to just be willing to take chances and trust in your players, and you have the players to trust in, and that's I think the most frustrating part for Eagles fans. But I mean, anything else on the offense?
Yeah, they've talked a lot about flipping the proverbial switch, like I talked about on the pod last week, and it's like, it's time. Like you said, this winter go home. Like there is no tomorrow.
Listen. As a football fan, the purest of football fans, and go Birds, goddammit. Go Birds. Y'all know what everybody in Philly want to say after that, so I ain't gotta say it. Whatever y'all want to say. As a pure football fan, as a fan who just watched, who watched an Ohio State team all year long, who is clearly a lot better than what they put on display last week. And all I listened to is Ryan Day talking to me about, because when it's time to flip the switch, we can flip the switch. I'm not trying to hear about any more switches.
Completely agree.
Can we play football, please?
Yeah, just do it. I don't want to hear about it. I like Quell, like even that report about like AJ was leading everybody in the locker room. There was energy. I don't care. Just go show it on the field. Like I'm really just, the product this season has just been so just disgusting, bro. Honestly, just disgusting. It's been just not fun to watch Eagles football, because it's like, how are they going to piss me off this week? That's what it's really come down to. And like that, if you can flip the switch, flip the damn switch and stop talking about it.
Push the damn button.
Right. Push the damn button. And last point on the offense, Tank Bigsby needs to have more than 2 carries. I don't know if you guys saw the Brandon Lee Gowton tweet, but Eagles record when Tank Bigsby gets 1 carry or fewer, 4-5. When Tank Bigsby gets 2 carries or more, 7-1. Now, obviously, you run the ball more after if you're in the lead and you're winning, but hey, the stats don't lie, man. The stats don't lie. So give Tank the rock, because that man, he runs like he's on a man on a mission, dude. Like he's afraid he's gonna get cut every time he's touching the ball, bro. I love the way Tank Bigsby runs, man. That it's just fun to watch. He just runs with so much effort. So make sure we get Tank the ball too. Give Saquon a little spell here and there, and let's just you got out physical this team, because they're gonna want to be physical, and the Niners can be physical. We saw it. What is it? What was it? Was it last year? Or the year before, when they came to Philly?
2023.
Yeah, and they just put belt to ass, because it was just, they out physicaled us. There was nothing else about it, and we look like losers, man. So you cannot have that.
Well, luckily for you guys, there's no Deebo Samuel in this game, and Deebo, he kind of went crazy in that 2023 showing out there in Philadelphia. So and the 49ers don't have any explosive players like that on this side of the ball. So you talk about, being out physical and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit more difficult for this team to have that type of performance.
And I don't know if there's going to be a fight this time, because Kayvon Wallace is no longer on the team. So Trent Williams will have somebody to pick on this time.
He'll find somebody.
I'm about to say Trent gonna fight somebody, bro. Trent gonna put hands on somebody.
Who's the smallest guy on the team this year? I'm trying to.
Brent Covey.
I just had the mental image of him body slamming Britton Covey right now in my head, bro. That's unbelievable, man. That'd be top tier content, honestly. Like, I mean, Britton Covey, every time he gets hit, it's like the they used to have like the ads for like all the car companies where they would like have the crash dummies like going through the car accident. That's what it looks like every time Britton Covey gets hit, dude. He's like, oh.
And it happens at least once a game. Every game it happens.
And he gets up, and it's like, all right, brother. Like, good for you, man. Me personally, I would have been like, I'm done, man. I'm done. What was it? Like, it was like 2 weeks ago. He took that hit to the shins, dude. That did not look fun, bro. Just helmet to the shins, full speed. That's got to be horrible, man. But Britton's a tough little dude, so you gotta give credit where credit is due. But now for the fun part. right? With the Niners offense versus this Eagles defense. The Eagles defense has just been firing on all cylinders over the last couple weeks, especially with the addition of Jalen Phillips, Marcus Epps entering the lineup as well. I think this defense has just been playing just great football in the sense that they're trusting each other. It's like how they looked in the playoffs last year, where guys are passing stuff off. They know exactly where the other guy is. The defensive line is playing in sync with one another. I just think when you have that opportunity, it's just that this defense can do special things if they're playing at that level. But like we've outlined, this Niners offense has also been able to win games, and you have to give credit where credit is due. But I think even if Trent Williams plays, I think this game really just has to come down to pressuring Brock. This offense is so timing based. I think it was Sean Syed on the Philly special, friend of the pod, that said, like, there's going to be some passes this game where it's kind of floating up there, and you swear it's going to be a pick, and then all of a sudden there's a receiver there who catches it, and then he gets a first down out of it, and you have to be prepared for that. But historically, the only way you can stop that is to pressure Brock. Now, Brock also has the that underrated, like the scramble ability, right? He's got that just like little bit of wiggle in him, where he can just kind of get out of the pocket and make things happen. And so you have to be ready for that. You have to hold contain. That is what I'm really going to be looking for from the edges. And actually, not just that from the edges, man. They're going to be trying to run outside zone. Like, the edges really, really have to be playing hard-nosed football.
And you know what we've been saying for weeks now? The Eagles allow like 5 yards per carry on outside runs on the season, so they are certainly gettable on outside zone, man. Certainly gettable.
Exactly. But, yeah. Go ahead, Quo. That's about what I had.
Before I pass to you, Crocker, to put your final bows on the offensive side of the ball, or at least the Eagles offense and the 49ers defense, so we can really talk some ball. Like you said, Partha, kind of all that comes down to stopping Brock Purdy. I mean, we all know the Eagles, if they want to win on an offensive front, the defense has to put them in good positions, because the offense just hasn't been what we want it to be. Let's just call a spade a spade. They have to be able to put Jalen Hurts in the offense in good positions. And we can talk about being able to run the ball, and we can talk about them throwing the ball outside of the numbers and all this cool stuff. But it's kind of going this. We talk week to week about it being trying to find a complete team effort on the Philadelphia Eagles front. Hopefully, special teams can hold up their end of the bargain this time. But this game just can't be won by the offense, basically.
Just a quick aside, real quick.
BTA.
Oregon just missed a kick at the end of the half, but what a name for the kicker! You guys know what his name is? The Oregon kicker's name is Atticus Sappington. That's a hell of a name, man. That's a hell of a name.
Was he named in the 1840s? What?
Like, bro, for real. But that's a royalty name, man. That's royalty right there. But he shouldn't have missed that kick. So I don't know, man. Sorry,
man, it's been bad.
It is BTA right now, though. Actual BTA. Score? It's 28-7, bro.
Oh nah, it's 35-7.
Oh, it's 30. Oh.
Yeah, you got to fast forward your TV a little bit, bro. I just
buddy,
in the middle of the podcast, I had to tweet Fernando Mendoza, QB1. Like, after Dante did that, what the hell was that?
What was that?
Ball, he tried to throw the ball and it just slipped. Game. We just getting them extra money on ABC right now.
This is not good for my brand.
Which is
the Dante Moore QB1 agenda.
Yeah, man, buddy. I was with you, but and I mean theoretically, that's the conversation we have later. Whatever.
Conversation for another day. Sorry. I had to interrupt because I was like, that's an incredible name, and then he missed the kick. So, what can you do? But anyways, I think Eric, you were about to say something about the Niners.
Oh no! You guys were talking about I think there was a question about to be asked about Brock Purdy, or
Oh, no. It was just us putting our final bows on the offensive side of the ball. If you had anything to say about the Eagles offense, 49ers defense.
Yeah, nah. If the 49ers figure out a way to get some pressure, move Jalen Hurts off of his spot, but keep him in the pocket, try to contain him. All things that I feel like the 49ers don't really do a really good job of. So I don't know. And it's a weird team. I have like these low expectations each week defensively, but you never know. It just, some of the things may click. There are some good football players out there. All you need is a couple guys to make a play. All of a sudden, you get a false sense of confidence that, hey, we can do this. And all of a sudden, defense starts playing well. And I've seen them, not a lot, but I have seen them play well. So,
this feels good, man. This feels good. We was just sitting here. We had JP Acosta on last week, and I was telling JP like how we have guests on throughout the year, and we asked them to tell us about how your thoughts on the Eagles and how they match up to your team. And all year long, it felt like somebody was just sitting there like, yeah, your team's ass, but I'm finding the nicest way to say it. But then for the first time ever this season, I feel like we got somebody that's on the other side like, look, man, y'all might think y'all got it bad, but you ain't seen worse.
Yeah.
But just as we move into the 49ers offense and Eagles defense, just to give us a bit of a backdrop on the 49ers offense, like you talked about at the top of the pod, Q, the term snake oil salesman is going to be used here. But for the 49ers offense, this is a lot of what we come to expect out of Kyle Shanahan. I prefer the term snake oil salesman, but they aim to stretch defenses. It's a lot of pre-snap motions, a lot of window dressing, condensed formations, play action. Like target the middle of the field. They lean on a one with Christian McCaffrey, who also, which this is like really interesting to me, but he leads the team in targets and receptions. So like they aim to stretch defenses or offenses more horizontally more than vertically. So a lot of short to intermediate passes that kind of give receivers yards after the catch opportunities just statistically for them. Second in total DVOA, 8th in EPA per play, 7th in EPA per dropback, 16th in EPA per rush. They operate primarily from under center, which they kind of use a lot to set up their play action passing game. The second in the league in motion rate, but they operate with motion out of a ton of different formations, personnel groups, a lot of different things like that. Like I said, it's kind of shocking to me that a running back leads them in targets and receptions. But
we're gonna get into that, brother. I'll tell you why.
Yeah. First in 21 personnel usage, 5th in 22 personnel usage, 28th in 11 personnel usage, and 27th in 12 personnel usage. Like I said, it's a lot of condensed formations. They operate with the highest rate of condensed formations of any team in the last 10 years. On the other side of that, the Eagles have the 4th best success rate in the league when defending condensed formation. So like you talked about, Q, it's a lot of games within this game. And I think, with the 49ers offense and the Eagles defense, a lot of them are going to be found here.
Yeah, man, this is where the football game. If you like all 22 and all that cool stuff, this is your spot that you want to be parked at this weekend, man. I mean, there's a lot of good matchups, but this one right here might be the premier matchup of the weekend, man. You talk about this 49ers offense, man. It's a really strange bunch, You just outlined the personnel they use, and I've actually... We like to verify him as our version of ESP, but friend of the pod, Grant Cohen, he funny guy there. He actually had a question during the presser today or the other day where he asked about the lack of 12 personnel usage and do they feel like that they can't play George Kittle and Jake Tonjes together, or what exactly it is. And it kind of speaks volumes into how this 49ers offense is set up. I mean, of course, you talk about what they do offensively. You want to start with how much they really, truly want to run the ball. To give you guys some context, this 49ers offense, they pass the ball on just 59% of their snaps, which ranks 21st in the league. I mean, they're a bit more consistent on first downs and pass neutral downs, where they rank probably about middle of the pack, 15th on pass neutral downs, 17th on first downs at about 50% and 52% respectively. But it all kind of starts with the run game, which is why you don't necessarily see that 12 person. If they wanted to throw the ball, if they was in a position without Christian McCaffrey, I think you probably would see a lot more of that 12 personnel and things of that nature. But when you start looking at the 49ers film, the first thing that jumps off the screen is that guy sitting in the flex formation, Kyle Juszczyk, and how they utilize him, the different motions and all that. That kind of goes into why the 21 personnel is as strong as it is. It allows them to do a whole lot of different things offensively and dress it up the way they wanted to. I mean, you truly don't know if they're going to run the ball or if they're going to pass the ball with him on the field. And I mean, it has been a blessing in disguise. You mentioned Christian McCaffrey leading the team in targets and how they quote unquote want to stretch you horizontally, not vertically. I beg to differ, buddy, because of his 99 receptions or something of that nature. 73 of those came on basically ahead of the line of scrimmage. So they want to use Christian McCaffrey as a wide receiver. They said we ain't got no pass catchers. He is the pass catcher, buddy, and they're gonna make it work. They find multitude of different ways to get Christian McCaffrey the football, whether it's running the ball where he's second in the league and missed tackles, throwing them the ball, and that opens everything up for everybody else, man. And you kind of mentioned this early on. I chuckled when you said it because Pierre mentioned about how you guys want to attack. You want to use play action, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's 18th, but play action and then attack teams vertically, and you said the term aggressive intermediate. That's exactly what it is. They want to that 10 to 20 yard area. That's Brock Purdy's life-saving area right there. Brock Purdy, in terms of passes on net, that's kind of where he wants to live. 72.6 of his passes have come on in-breaking routes and routes basically anything in the middle of the field. The second highest rate on those passes, Mac Jones. This is perimeter in the offense. This isn't just a Brock Purdy thing. This is what Kyle Shanahan wants his offense to look like. Now, the thing is, despite how successful he's been on in-breaking routes and attacking the middle of the field, like you mentioned, Pierre, the Eagles in the intermediate area, they've been very sound this year. So it'll be interesting to see. My favorite stat coming across all this when studying them in the intermediate area is despite how successful, how great Brock Purdy has been in the intermediate area this year, it's been kind of hit or miss because of his 10 interceptions. 9 of those have come on in-breaking routes. So if they want to attack, you have to win. Like we talk about Quinyon Mitchell and all his success and who he can limit. This is not a Quinyon Mitchell game. Just go out, stand out there, buddy. You're going to be bored, man. You're going to be bored. You might see a couple, but not a lot. That middle of the field, which is so fun, man, so fun, because we talk about Vic Fangio and his love of linebackers. He develops linebackers for a living. And we all talked about for years. You brought up the 2023 matchup, and God, I'm sure we all remember what he did to Alex Moreau or Anthony Moreau. My goodness.
Nick Moreau?
Yeah, Nick Moreau. I do that to him every time. But Nick Moreau, my goodness. Talk about the worst linebacker play I've ever seen in my life. Nick Moreau just got picked on. Well, there's no Nick Moreau anymore. In fact, if you want to pick on anybody, it might be N'Kobe, which, I mean, should be a plus in the run game. We'll see how it works in the pass game. Like you said, man, Pierre, a bunch of game within the games here to talk about.
So, I mean, are there any other like matchup, or should we get into matchups, or is there anything else you guys want to talk about with our defense versus their offense?
Like you said, Q, it's a lot of games within the game. Like I think for me, for the Eagles defense in this game, it's going to come down to 3 things. Number one, how does Vic Fangio decide to defend San Francisco when they go into the 21 or 22 personnel? Is it nickel? Do you see them use the 5-1, 5-2 penny fronts? And then if you do decide to play nickel, can you stop the run? Do you trust Jordan Davis and sort of the breakout year that he's had, how he's been effective against the run and the pass? Then number 2, like we also talked about, does Vic Fangio decide to throw pressure at Brock Purdy on passing downs? Where you talked about Q, when he's throwing over the middle of the field, he is prone to throwing interceptions. And then 3, who handles Christian McCaffrey at the linebacker position for the Eagles? Is it Jahad Campbell? Is it Kobe Dean? Is it Zach Bond? I think it'll probably be Zach Bond. And like I said, I talked about it in the lead up to the Bills game with James Cook and all the success that he's had. But the Eagles this year, they've been got by some running backs out of the backfield in terms of the receiving game, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs or Rashad White. They slowed down James Cook, and it's kind of like they're going to need the same level of performance in this game against Christian McCaffrey because, as we talked about, he leads the team in targets and receptions. They want to get him the ball.
I don't think it's going to be a linebacker.
I think a big part of that as well with Christian McCaffrey and the targets he's gotten. I think you were expecting at some point Brandon Ayuk to come back, but even overall, there's just been pass catchers that are kind of in and out of the lineup. So at one point or another, Jawan Jennings missed a ton of time. At one point or another, Ricky Pearsall missing a lot of time. At one point or another, George Kittle missing a lot of time. You brought in, Kendrick Bourne, but it's not like he started the season with you, right? So, and even then, he's not going to be a high volume target guy. So who's been Mr. Consistent for the 49ers? Maybe the guy that they thought would potentially be the least consistent, right? A guy who kind of like before the season is like, damn, is his body breaking down? He's like, nope, kind of playing possum. I'm going to play every game for the 49ers and be the most targeted pass catcher as well. So I think a lot of it has to go into them missing a lot of the other guys or those guys, missing, time due to injury, and Christian McCaffrey being the one guy that they could rely on throughout the entire season.
Absolutely. I mean, and proof is in the pudding, right? That we played the whole season, had a great season as a receiver, and had 1,200 rushing yards. Like he doesn't have the same juice that he did 2-3 years ago because he's a little bit older, but he's still got it, and you got to respect it. But as I was just kind of saying a second earlier, Pierre personally, I think it's going to be Coop on McCaffrey. Like I just think that.
So you think they play? You think it's nickel, cool. And you think Coop just plays more closer to the box?
Yeah, that would be my thought. I mean, that's what I would do. You have a guy who's the best nickel in the league. Why not use him against one of the best slot? We got a guy who's been one of the best slot receivers in the league, even though he's a running back. I just think it is right there, and that's the beauty of having a player like Coop. And the different things he can do because he can help stop the run as well. I mean, he's one of the best tacklers on the team. So that would be my guess. But I mean, obviously we'll see. But matchups.
Let's do it.
All right. So Eric, usually we do basically the same thing with Eagles offense versus Niners defense and Niners defense versus Eagles offense. Basically a player matchup that you're kind of excited to watch throughout the game. We can sorry, lost my voice there for a second, but we'll start with the Eagles offense versus the Niners defense. For me, I'll kick it off. I'm excited for the Eric Kendricks Saquon Barkley matchup, man. Like we talked about how weak the Niners are at linebacker right now, and the depth that they've just kind of had to go through. I mean, you look at their depth chart and it's just IR, like everywhere. And it's tough to watch. Saquon, let's get it going, man. I just think you can take advantage of that, whether you're out of the backfield as a receiver or we're running the ball. We need Saquon getting up to the second level and breaking some tackles, and I think this linebacker core makes it possible for Saquon to have a big game as well. So that would be my Eagles offense versus Niners defense matchup to watch.
Yeah, I want to watch Trent Williams up against guys like Nolan Smith, Jalen Phillips, right? What does that look like? Last week, I think not having Trent Williams out there, you saw the pocket collapsing just a little too much, trying to rely on Pleasant to protect the blind side of Brock Purdy. I think Purdy kind of felt that pressure crashing in on him consistently. But you get your big dog back out there to protect your quarterback, and you got some, talented edge rushers for the Philadelphia Eagles. So what do they look like against Trent Williams, and how did Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz hold up against those pass rushers?
Absolutely. And do you have one for the other side as well? With our offense versus your defense?
Oh shit! Excuse my language.
That's all. Nah, you good, man.
Yeah. I think really, I think one of the biggest matchups I'll be looking at is the 49ers interior defensive line. Some of the young guys like Alfred Collins against some of the interior offensive linemen of the Philadelphia Eagles. How does he hold up? Because if he can be stout against the run, that really helps the 49ers at the second level. I think one of the underrated things, we're talking a lot about the linebackers, but ideally you want to keep your linebackers clean. Can the big guys eat up some of these offensive linemen, prevent them from getting to the next level, and getting free to the 49ers linebackers who are a little youthful, or some of them not youthful, but just inexperienced playing with the 49ers, right? Kendrick's not very youthful at all. So that's something that, the matchup between the 49ers D line and how they fare against the run and run blocking.
Look, man. That's hilarious. He said not very youthful in Kendricks. Look, I'm here to tell you, and hopefully this gives you a smooth feeling heading into the football game. As long as they match Alfred Collins over top of Cam Jurgens, you'll be happy. It's not been pretty. It's not been matter for you talking about getting linebackers, keeping the linebackers clean. Linebackers ain't gonna be clean because Cam gonna be looking for him while Alfred Collins is in the backfield.
The amount of times we've seen that is just Cam Jurgens somebody will take care of this defensive lineman who's just screaming through the middle of the defense. Let me go get this linebacker.
Running back at it. It's okay. Like, dude, what are we doing here, man?
Saquon's doing 3 jump cuts and a spin move to get 2 yards, and he's like, "Oh, my bad, I got the linebacker." Oh my God.
So, Eagles offense against the 49ers defense, my matchup to watch will be, sadly enough, hopefully these guys have a great day, but A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith against maybe Rolando Green and, of course, Diamond Lenore. When you talk about this 49ers secondary, especially with the way they like to play coverage, I talked about the amount of match coverage you probably see from them. The amount of just this stat specifically in terms of single high. But you're going to get a lot of one-on-ones with this defense as the play continues to progress. Because as we all know, as match is basically man coverage after a while. But when you look at basically this 49ers secondary against wide receivers, they've allowed 15 touchdowns compared to the 3 interceptions they've got on the year against the wide receiver position. When you look at just the position as a whole, I think the Eagles' offense has gained, especially against single high coverage. The receivers have produced 1,245 yards, which is 5th in the league against single high coverage. So if the run game could just be a tad bit competent and make them bring that extra guy down, you got the opportunity to take your chances, man. You got an opportunity to take your chances.
100%.
So for me, with the Eagles offense versus 49ers defense, wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So looking at this, the Eagles operate with the 4th highest rate of empty. They have the 3rd highest success rate when they operate out of empty. 49ers, on the other side, they operate with the 3rd lowest success rate defensively when facing empty sets. We've seen the Eagles utilize empty sets sometimes to set up the QB run game with Jalen when they want to get him on the draws or just different things like that. And, all season we've seen the reports that Jalen doesn't want to run. It's just something that he's not willing to do. Jalen talked about it this week, and he said he's just run what's been called.
Coordinator under a moving bus.
He said that's what the coordinator's called. That's what I'm running, right?
Extra points, the coordinator. Then he tried to clean it up, Kevin. Coach KP. No, brother. We read between these lines very well. And that bus is a heavy bus.
I've never heard Jalen make
that's how you know. That's how you know he's pissed. That's how you know he's pissed off,
bro. He is pissed. Sorry, yeah, go on, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, Nick and KP all year they've talked about flipping the switch when it matters, and like we talked about earlier in the pod, right? Like the switch to flip is the QB run game. You want to get Jalen, get his legs moving, like you talked about Q last year in the playoffs. They up the QB run rate, and I think this Sunday we see a heavy dose of Jalen in the QB run game, right? They should be able to run a ball with Saquon. Opportunities should be there in the QB run game with Jalen. It's creative ways that they can do it. That whether they go QB power, QB sweep, QB draw. That's what I'll be watching for.
And as much as we talk about Jalen being like a basketball player, where he needs to see the ball go through the hoop early on, and then he's just kind of hooping from there. It's the same thing as a runner. I think back to the Rams game, where he had that big touchdown run to kind of start the game. You could just tell he was just like, all right, we're here. We can do this, and the moment's not too big. So it's imperative that the OC just builds confidence in these guys early on in the game. Otherwise, it's going to get ugly, man. It's going to get ugly. And once you do build confidence, keep pushing. You just no taking your foot off the gas. Like I can't do it again, bro. I cannot do it again. But
and I got this stat before we move on. Also, I want to get this in there. When Jalen Hurts rushes for 30 or more yards, the Eagles are 42-16 in his career, and when he doesn't, they are 9-7. So, like, as much as Sirianni likes to point towards, when we don't turn the ball over, our record. Well, when Jalen Hurts runs the ball, look at the record.
We'll let him run the ball if he don't fumble the damn thing.
This is true.
There was bound to be some regression into the mean. I mean, it's just every year it's just back and forth because some years it's just like, oh, he doesn't fumble, he doesn't throw picks, and then the next year it's like, oh shit, he does fumble, he does throw picks. So it's the name of the game, man. Okay, so switching sides, Niners offense versus Eagles defense.
Which one I'm gonna go with cheat? Just get it out now. Which one of us gonna cheat?
Oh, I'm not cheating.
I don't really know if this is considered cheating.
All right, let Parf go.
All right. Well, I got mine with the one that we just kind of outlined. Now, obviously, we don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but I want to see the Coop and Christian McCaffrey matchup, man. Who is the white boy with the most swag? That's really what we will find out from this matchup. They should be broadcasting this like a WWE event, man. But in all seriousness, I just think that's going to be such a fun matchup to watch because McCaffrey, despite being a running back, it's almost like his pops was a really, really good receiver back in the day, because he can run routes and he can break tackles.
Real quick, hey, do the Eagles keep Cooper DeJean on the field in verse 21 personnel?
It depends.
They started moving him outside.
Most of the time they have. They Coop is out there as much as possible. He's probably Fangio's favorite player on the defense just because of
I think in terms of based on, I don't know, I ain't no Matt Reader. If I think on how you asking this, yeah, they keep him on the field, but they move him to outside corner, so he isn't really as much of a threat against the run in base. So that's why we're hoping that they don't play base as much as they would like to, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's just he's so much of a weapon when he's able to just move around the field that when he's at outside corner, it almost feels like a waste, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, he's able to do so much. The multiplicity of it all. I'll keep using it, Pierre. I got you, man.
But the reason they moved them to outside corner and base was because when they ran base in the past, they've had to take him off the field. So now they're just trying to find a way to keep him on the field at all.
Or you can just keep a spade as it is. The spade as it is, man. Whether it's a deuce, an ace, a king, a queen, just call the spade, whatever it is. He don't trust Adoree Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, can't blame him. Adoree's played well, but
he's played better. He don't trust Adoree. It's a reason that he come off the field in in base. He's been playing well, but it's a lot easier to hide him in nickel than it is in base.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's my matchup. I'm really excited to see that, and I hope that's the matchup we get to see because I think that's going to be just a good football matchup.
Go ahead, P.
I'm gonna go Eagles defensive tackles versus the interior of San Francisco's O-line. I don't think that's cheating, but if they can get penetration early and often in both the run game and the passing game, make them one-dimensional, force them to throw the football, and you're able to pressure Brock and throw off the timing. And Brock, like you said, Q, he's had a propensity to turn the ball over. 10 interceptions in 9 games, by the way. But when you're able to impact him, you're able to get home, pressure him. I think the defense will have a good day.
Crocker?
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go back to the one I said a little while ago, but Trent Williams. You know what I'm saying? Trent Williams, Colt McKivitz against the edge rushers, Phillips and Smith from Philadelphia Eagles.
That's a good one.
I get to cheat because nobody's cheating. Yay. The obvious.
Is that new? It's every week.
It's every week, and it would never stop. It's just trying to figure out who's going to be the culprit. But the obvious answer here is Vic Fangio against Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, my God. Get a load of this guy.
How could you not love? Like I said, man, this is the main event of the weekend. This is what people want to see. And I mean, I know we all love the stats about Shanahan defenses against the Shanahan offenses against the Vic Fangio defenses. But can you believe that this will be the first time in 7 years that we have a Shanahan and Fangio matchup? So all that sleep you talked about, Pierre, that nightmares that he gave them for all that time, he's had 7 years to sit and stew on this moment. It's kind of like Freddy Krueger in your dreams. It's been accumulating up to this. Now, of course, it'll be easy to mention that in those two matchups, I think the last time they played was 2018. And in those two matchups, that was Niners-Bears. The 49ers offense produced 9 points and 15 points. Doesn't really help that the 49ers are coming off even though since Brock Purdy got back, they averaged 30 points a game. But they're coming off a performance which they've scored 3 points, which I hope this one will make you smile a little bit, Crocky. Because, I told you, big fan, man. I tap in with you, big dog. But as of your beloved co-host, Brian Peacock, would you guys believe that this was the worst 49ers output since the very first game of the Kyle Shanahan era? They had never produced a worse point outing than what they did last week. If you think between all I just mentioned about Vic Fangio and them coming off that, Kyle Shanahan ain't been in the lab. This is not going to be what it looked like against Matt LaFleur, where he was on the sideline slamming the clipboard down because he can't figure it out. This is going to be a dogfight, buddy.
Well, Brett Coleman, he has a terrific YouTube channel. He broke down Vic Fangio's defense, and there was some really good stuff. So if you guys haven't had a chance to see it, man, he dropped it just in time for Kyle Shanahan to kind of take a peek, even though I'm pretty sure it's what Kyle sees on film. But there was just some good insight between him, Coach Vaz, and but yeah, if you're into kind of the nerdy stuff as it pertains to defense and coverages and why they do certain things, man, that's a good YouTube video to watch.
Definitely, man. It doesn't help that every time Brett drops a video on something, it goes wrong. But please, defense, don't fail me now.
Defense is going to fail you, but you failed me by cheating. You basically took mine and then just went like up 2 levels. You got Shanahan's boy Christian McCaffrey, Fangio's boy Cooper DeJean. It was right there. But hey, I digress. But I think it's a good transition to game predictions. Anybody got the courage to go first, or should I?
You've been missing for weeks. We need your prediction.
It's on me. All right. That's fair enough. All right. Well, my prediction. I'll put it this way. I think the Eagles win either way. Where I think the Eagles are going to win the game, but if the Eagles lose the game, we win because Kevin Patullo's ass gets fired. So it's a win-win situation.
I don't know if you saw what's the reporter Q?
Oh,
NFL Network, Mike Garafolo.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw Mike Garafolo today.
Anthony, I almost
Gargano.
called him Jaguar. Yeah, I almost called him the Jaguars defensive coordinator. My goodness.
But he said that Nick is very loyal to Kevin.
See you, Nick. They did it to Doug. I don't know how we have to go through this 2 times, bro. 2 times. Super Bowl winning coaches were just like, yeah, this is my best friend, and yeah, he's gonna stay here no matter what, even if we're hot ass, dude. We're getting Press Taylor all over again, dude. It's
hilarious part about this is Press Taylor be getting killed, and Press Taylor didn't even get the chance to call plays here. He was just an option, and folks was like, "Y'all want this 2 packs of ass calling plays for my team?" He gets so much hell for no reason. Eagles fans feel so vindicated after seeing that.
I won't say no reason. I won't say no reason. That whole
it was a QB coach in Carson's worst season. So
and he just
who was the one who found the Philly special?
That's true. That's true.
Does he want a cookie for finding one play? All right. Shout out to Trey Burton, Gator great for throwing that pass. All right. That's really what it comes down to. But I'll get into my predictions. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about it. We're not going to think about it because Hopefully we win the Super Bowl and then Patullo was gone because he gets another job, man. Because my sanity cannot take this. But prediction for the game, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Eagles win, 27-17. I think. I just think. Huh?
You got a lot of dip on your chip.
Yeah, but I think this offense is gonna find some ways to. Sorry, the Niners offense is gonna find some ways to score the ball at some point. I don't think you can just completely shut him out. But I mean, obviously the Eagles have shown that they do that sometimes. But I just think that our offense can kind of get back on track, man. They really need to. This is the defense where you can do it. Yeah, and if they don't, then you don't deserve to be there, and that's just really what it comes down to. And if it's a continuation of what we've seen all year, if Nick Sirianni still has the courage to hold on to Kevin Patullo, then I don't know what you do, because I know Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are not satisfied with the output on the field, especially with what they're paying to keep this team together. So, yeah, 27-17. Go Birds.
I'm going to go Eagles 24, San Francisco 13.
Okay,
I just don't.
Dogs. Let's go.
Nah, not this week, but this is playoffs. Yeah, I just don't think San Francisco has the horses defensively to keep up. I think the Eagles offense kind of gets right. Jalen gets going in the QB run game. You see a lot of Dallas Goedert action. And the Eagles come out with a win.
What does that mean? You don't have the facilities
for that
big man? Facilities for that big man?
Yeah, well, I know I've talked a lot about some of the deficiencies on the 49ers, but there's one thing I know about Kyle Shanahan. Come playoff time, he doesn't lose until he gets to conference championships. So, I got the 49ers. I got a couple late field goals by Eddie P to help the 49ers get the victory. And Eddie Pinero has been awesome for the 49ers.
Gators, man. You guys got too many Gators. It sucks. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's been awesome. So, again, I don't think the 49ers will just stifle the Philadelphia Eagles offense. That just hasn't been the 49ers, for the most part, right, against some offenses that are able to put some things together. But I got the 49ers 30-27.
Y'all got a lot of dip on y'all chip, man. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I like it. Right? It's the playoffs. I was about to say it's the playoffs. I like it. Well, I'm sitting on the same sentiment that I asked JP last week. How many of y'all truly think the Eagles can win this game if they score 13 points? I think it can happen, but I'm here to tell you that we're scoring 13 points. I don't know how long it's going to take or when you're going to get them, but we're going to score 13 points. And the fact that the Shanahan offense has only scored 6 and 15 over the last 2 games, hopefully it's 6 and not 15. But 6 and 15, the mean of that is 11. So I'm going 13-11. I don't know how they're going to get 11 points, but I'm sure Kevin Patullo and the Philadelphia Eagles will find a way. Probably be closer to 13-10, but I'm sure Kevin Patullo will find a way to give them a free point somehow. It might be a pick 2 or something on the 2-point conversion, some stupid stuff. Just stupid.
3 field goals and a safety is
I don't know. Look, the Eagles. I talked about the games within the games. The Eagles got to find a way to win the games within the games. It's not going to be easy. We're talking about the number 1 third down offense in football in the 49ers, man. They stay on the field and we don't. We have, I think, like the worst 3-and-out record in like the last 40 years or something like that. Like, it's horrible. We got to find a way to stay on the field. Now, our one saving grace is when we get into the red zone. Crocky just talked about them scoring field goals. We score touchdowns when we get there, if we can get there. That's a huge edge. But over the last couple weeks, yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
The last week they scored, it was 3. And it's like, oh man, the sky is falling. But prior to that, I mean, you look at the
I said, they averaged 30 since Purdy got back.
42 points against the Bears, 48 against the Colts, 37 against the Titans, 26 against the Browns in cold weather on the road. They got a 41-point game right there. Like,
the Browns one is the one that sticks out to me the most. But the difference between all those teams and what the teams that we talking about today is, and the team that we talking about last week, Same we talked about last week is the number 2 defense in football. Well, as I think it was Mina Kimes who said it like this. Guess who their next door neighbor is in that neighborhood, knocking on their door every morning at 6 a.m. The number 3 defense in the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm not sure they can replicate what Seattle did. Easier said than done, but there are no scrubs that was going on here. So I'm banking on the fact that it'll probably be our defense can carry us, and our offense just has to be able to score some points at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if the score of this game is 6-7 by the time the fourth quarter comes around. Like, that's what Philadelphia Eagles football looks like. You look at the Packers and the Lions and some of these great offenses that people like to talk about around the league. We use the boxing analogy or the boa constrictor analogy. The Eagles just want to get you in the deep water, brother. If we can't get you, if the 49ers are able to get a quick turnover and score fast and then put us on the defense, it might get ugly. I don't want to say ugly, but that's not the type of game that we want to play. Now, if we sitting here and if we going 3 and out, but you going 3 and out, it's not going to be fun, but I'm going into the fourth quarter like I like my chances, basically.
Yeah.
The Eagles just make it ugly every game. It's like, oh, our offense is miserable. We're going to make sure you're as miserable as we are. I think that's really what it just comes down to, man. But it's going to be.
They need to give Fangio a Nobel Peace Prize, man. Something.
He deserves something for having to deal with this incompetency on the offensive side, dude. Leading the league in 3 and now. It's like it's just so stupid, man. But here I am predicting 27 points, so maybe I'm stupid. But who knows? Who knows? You never know. It's the playoffs. But I mean, I think this has been a good pod. Eric, thank you so much for joining us, man. We wanted to give you a second.
We can find your work.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure
You guys can follow me on Twitter or X at Coach Crocker. And then, of course, find me on YouTube, man. Myself, Brian Peacock, we host Locked On 49ers, daily 49ers podcast. Last time I checked, biggest 49ers audio podcast in the world. So, make sure you guys continue to check in on that. And, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Anytime, brother, man. It's been a moment well had. We've been waiting for this moment. So it's been very enjoyable to have you here.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it from us. Go Birds, man.
Go Birds.
You've been going that long. You forgot the sign off, dog.
What
like
if you're listening,
comment,
you're listening after the stream on whichever podcast streaming platform you're listening on,
brother,
you're sure to leave us a like and a review, rate us 5 stars. We gonna be back
tell him
Tuesday.
afterwards. My man said, "Look, we got to set them straight now. This is bad."
I got like 6 hours of sleep and I'm still on India time, bro. Follow us, goddammit. I don't need to keep tagging y'all. How many times I gotta tell y'all? And they still don't comment. They still don't do anything. Comment.
Yeah, y'all let
say something.
Philly
dry
Malachi,
chat today.
510 Malachi, come take over y'all chat, man.
Every time, man. Every time. Eagles fans always want to talk the most shit until it comes to our comment section, man. What are we supposed to do? See, we got Niners fans in here telling to set us straight on the Eagles pod. Oh my God. See, killing
Let's
me, man.
go Niner gang, man. Come on.
All right.
But go Birds, everybody.
Go Birds.
You don't have to say it, Croc. You don't have to.